zoom in a little bit. Hopefully, we give that a go. There we go. There we go. All right, good evening, everyone. How are we doing? Let's just zoom in just a little bit more. There we go. So as long as I don't leave anything there. Good evening, Ben. Early tonight, my friend. Is that because you were late last time, so you thought best not be late tonight? Yes, I'm just slurping down the last of my coffee. Let's get the box for these badasses. These, tonight, we are painting evening cubes. These bad boys. These are the enforcers of righteousness with huge swords. Griffin Beast's words and mine. Yes. Ah. How did the hog roast go? Oh. We know how it went. Yum, 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 yum. So these are part of the Saga Age of Magic guys that we've been doing. So let's go with these fellas, which I still haven't read the rules yet, but I'm pretty sure are going to be the funkiest looking Trench Crusade there is. Oh, so jealous. Did everyone see my fancy pants coffee mug? Look at that. Yarg. Right, so let's... So these guys are enforcers of righteousness. Huge swords. I think they've gone up, but when I priced these up from the shop, they were £6, but I think they might be £6.50 now. Don't quote me on that. Check on the Griffin Beast website, and the code is SOM08. There we go. Yeah, somebody said these would be good for Frostgrave. There's a pack of the warriors on that one, and they've got the pointy hats. So I'll try and grab one of those next time at Griffin Beast. Yes, that's all good fun. Popped up to see the Beastie Boys the other day, and they're happily packing away. Right, coffee's done. Let's get some painting done. Let's start with some fleshy or moonstone skin. Yeah, I was going to do some more 100 Years War tonight, but then I saw these guys and thought, no. Fill the palette up with some medium. Remember where my... Play with the focus out. Yeah, that's good. That's still good. Oh, pardon me. Yeah, I was going to sort of prep some frost grey gangs up for the Crow's Nest, well, Pirate Rich Paints website. When I get a chance, somebody said, could I do some pre-done warbands for Stargrave and Frostgrave? And I thought, yeah, I can do that. As you see, I've just thinned the flesh down. Just keep moving that medium in. I'm a bit funny at first because I started a brand new brush. I keep looking at the Moonstone miniatures, Ben, and I've picked them up a number of times and put them back down because I thought, there's a rabbit hole. They're gorgeous, aren't they? Have you got some of you? Hopefully. News from the... Yeah, I looked at the rules. One of the last conventions, somebody was carrying on stock, and I looked at the and the rules look really good as well. Oh, what's up with you focusing camera? So there's lots of interesting games out there now. Once you get the concept of playing the sort of new style skirmishy games, they're pretty easy to grab and play straight off the bat. I picked up a copy of A Courgeur the other day, and looking through it, you think, yeah, I know how to play this. I reckon a quick skim read through. With most combat games now, you're away with the bare bones of it, aren't you? Or I'm painting his glove. That's me nattering. It's alright. So just while it's wet, I'm just gonna lay some more on there. Rinse my brush. Yeah. That's one of the shouts for actually card-driven games, isn't it? It's like what's it called? Jugular. Whereas card-driven, it's definitely shows your card strategy. So it's almost like playing two games at once. You're playing the card side of it and the dice side of it, which is a bit like Saga, really, isn't it? If you equate the board to cards. Yeah, I'm hoping hopefully we're getting another supplier for the studio. So obviously I do an online shop and available to pick up at the studio. So hopefully we'll start stocking some more stuff on the website. So that should be changing over the next few months. When I managed to get through the commissions to get myself some time. But as we see, just laying this flesh-based colour down nice and thin. You can see these guys like to have their butts out. There's no other way to put that. So hopefully everyone's had a really good week. And as soon as you've been left unsupervised, Ben, has the glue been locked away in the cupboards? Stop you gluing yourself to your models. Oh, well done, mate. Congrats. That's a biggie, isn't it? First publication of a book. That's amazing. Well done, mate. Keep us all informed, like. Obviously, let us know. We'll give it as much shout out as we can on our little tiny channel. But it is indeed Friday, Artemis, my friend. So let's have a look at these. Unlike us, I'm gonna go back over the flesh tone because I want a really kind of strong, cartoony looking flesh on these guys. So I'm gonna thin the flesh still, but I'm gonna go over to get some nice coverage. So obviously, I'm gonna want to work this skin tone. Yeah, finishing it's probably definitely a priority, isn't it? Definitely a good plan. As you see, we're just nice thin layers just to make sure we don't lose any of that detail. Oh, we've got faith in you. Oh, yes. It's the same skin tone, but I've put it on a little bit thinner, and I'm doing the second coat now. And I think the other thing is this light's catching the skin tone more. I had to change my overhead. I bought one of those posh arch ones at a show off a chap that was selling painting lights. And unfortunately, it blew up. I don't know if it's perhaps it was just designed for. Well, it was for. I don't think it's since November. The other thing on the white might look a bit lighter as well, because when I did the undercoat on these, I did put a little bit of extra grey on it because I knew I'd be doing all this flesh work. Now, obviously, these guys you could really do a quick job of making everything black, leather, black, yes, black that. You know what I mean? It'd be a really quick paint job. But, of course, we're going to make it a little bit more complicated for ourselves. First up by highlighting the flesh up rather than using a wash. It's me wanting a nice solid two coat kind of right. Obviously there's not a lot of clothing on these guys. Let's work out where we want the leather. We're going to do brown rather than black, because obviously black leather would make them very easy and fast to paint. So we do some brown leather. This is our usual base, favourite base, Brigadine Brown. Thin it out. Yeah, it's all good fun. An interesting sword hilt. Apparently, it's shaped like it's a kidney knife, isn't it? I found out early because I'd always called it a bee knife. Hmm. Yeah. Strange, isn't it? There was, I can't remember what was the company that for one of their shows had used AI to do the poster, and the guy charging forward with a bayonet had like a single barrel bayonet gun thing at the front. The rest of it was cool, but for some reason that happened. I don't know the whys or wherefores. Ahoy, Rich! Those of you that seen the Crow's Nest or Pirate Rich Paints Facebook pages this week will have noticed a disturbing photograph of the ship's dog helping with some commissions. And I'm sure somebody's just arrived. Yeah. It was probably quite worrying for you, Rich, wasn't it? Or did you have complete faith that the dog hadn't run off with the box? And instead of just getting the box back, I photographed him instead. No dogs or Highlanders were injured in the shooting of that photographs, my friend. On the news front on that, Rich, all the Montrose Irish are painted, and the first box of Highlanders is, I'd say, 90% complete. There's been a few late nights on those ones, mate. Cool. Just what you're trying to catch on everything. There we go. So that's the base colour of the brown leather. if we should do him in brown leather as well now. Oh, pardon me. I wonder if doing him in... I was thinking about doing him in black, this one in black, but they might look a bit odd like that, mightn't they? I see, both in brown leathers. Carry on with carnelian. Oh, no, it's not carnelian brown, it's brigandine brown, this one. Would you like a sneak peek of your Highlanders, Rich? Just off camera to my left. That's of course if everyone else is doesn't mind. Just wash the brush out there. Let's just grab a couple of these guys. Basically the tartan's got to be done on them in the morning. Here's the rude Highlander with his butt cheeks out. Yeah, then nearly, say, should be able to get this batch finished in the morning. I was just trying to get you a... There's some neat sculpts in these. It's getting a little bit longer than the Irish. Yeah, it certainly is, Cuba. A buttock-rich episode. Yes. I've reached the bottom. The only way now is back to the top. Yeah, this Brigandine Brown's good. I mean, that's thinned right out, and the coverage is excellent. Yeah, I'd get the Irish out to shoot, but they're all packed up in their own trays at the moment. Yes, this episode I'll have to go back and edit and rename it to Buttocks and Book Deals. Yes. It certainly freaked the Romans out, didn't it, when they met the Celtic skyclad? Must have been quite a foreign concept when you've been drilled and drilled and drilled to be safe behind your armour and shield. I tell you what, Ben, I was just going to mention that. You're right, the bit of the Braveheart where he catches an arrow with his butt cheek really does sort of what do I say, nail it home that, maybe not always the best tactic. I know, was it the Picts as well that was it was it Caesar? I can't remember. But the painted lunatic. Loony men. Let's get the gun nailed down. Yeah, it seems that each culture, I mean, think about the Viking bazaar, isn't it? What's happened to you? Focus, thank you. Perhaps he was just a bit strange and he made it all up. And they didn't actually exist at all. You wouldn't put it past the Caesar, would you? There's a few. There's a good brand spot in there. I think we should change the subject. I know technically it is my fault for bringing videos, images with their butts out onto video.
You got gold.
See that? Gold. That's right, I have a. Let me just take a bit of gold, really gold into the palette ready, because somebody's going to borrow it. There we go. Yeah, don't blame me. I only work on guidelines rather than. there's, in fact, there's no point in blaming the pirate, is there? Really? In fairness, whenever we're at a convention, I don't, I get blamed for all sorts at the conventions, but in fairness, it's okay because at the end of the day, I don't care. she, you carry on. It's fine. That is a huge sword, though, isn't it? In fairness, the pack, the packaging didn't lie. They are enforcers with huge swords. That's cool. We're not doing these metal as well. So obviously using my matte brush to put the metallic on. Just put metallic on with a good brush. Say goodbye to your good brush. Yeah. Or if you see them in films, they've got huge swords like that in a back scabbard. And you think, how long would your arms have to be to actually draw that? Yeah, there's a whole online debates about back scabbards, isn't there? They have to be specially designed and also back quivers, isn't it? That was the other one. Which I am not going to get drawn into. We're just using greedy gold because we like to use greedy gold. It is the greediest of all the golds. Ah, yes. The noble squire. Here, carry this huge sword, small child. Here's my razor sharp 6 foot. I don't care you're only 5 foot. Here's my 6 foot sword with amazingly sharp edge. Be careful with that. Don't blunt it. Let's fall back. This kidney knife is like a kidney sword, but I was just thinking that it's got balls on it, isn't it? So they have to be golden. So this makes this guy, this enforcer called Beckham, allegedly. Please don't sue me, Mr. Beckham. Yeah, I was. That's exactly. There we go. See all the. We're getting the base layers in at the moment, which is good. I'm going to go. There's like a. I don't know where there's weird sort of inner stockings inside his boots. I don't know what's going on there, but let's use some black. Let's have some black leather on the brown leather guys, just to make it look a bit different. Up in the underneath there. Oh, pardon me. This black is, as we all know, kind of a watered down, thinned out with matte medium. So you've got to be a little bit careful with it. If you've got pure black, don't forget to thin it down. Check out my video on making matte medium. Oh, who was it asking me about brushes? Is it you, Artemis? Somebody did put a comment on the video from not last week, the week before, I think. I'm not sure I was all out of focus there, wasn't I? Sorry, guys. There is a rumour that I'm just about to start that Lord S had to model some of this sculptor. Allegedly. But that's just a rumour I heard. I think they're at the Hammerhead show tomorrow. Alas, I could not make it this time, for I have too much painting to do. Rich, there is no briefs on these miniatures. I think that's all the black clevery bits. From the scene where they're going into the False of Doom's palace, there is some guys that are very similar to this, isn't there? I think is flashy loincloth. I don't even know what it's called there. Should be red. So we can start off with. I should read them out when I got them to camera, haven't I? Basilisk red for our base tone on our red. I'm going to walk that right down. That nice thin coat. I know I watched the making of the Conan thing. One of the funniest stories is when they were filming the giant snake scene, and Conan chops its head off, didn't he? And they were doing the shoot, and it was shot somewhere really cold as steps, or I don't know exactly where, but it was very cold there, and they were struggling because the blood was freezing before it was spraying everywhere. So the prop team put bottles of vodka in it. To stop it freezing. Of course, it didn't take long for the cast to work out that you could get drunk on the snake's blood. So apparently, yes, they were all walking around with blood all over their faces, smashed out their head on snake blood. How cool was that? I was gonna paint his posing pouch bright red, like cameo, but I don't think I will. Let's put Dusty Skull. They've both got hangman's ropes tied around their middles, so we'll put the base layer to them. Then we can start building some of these. Layers out. Again, this brush has picked up. Can you see how wet the top of the brush is? Now if I touch that on, all that water is going to end up on my miniature. So I'm going to take the moisture out of the brush, and I'll show you on camera again. See, it's nice and dry now. apparently they had to stop and drink because they were just going through too much of the blood. And that's why the scene's so bloody as well, because everyone was very enthusiastic about getting covered with the blood. I do hope that is true. I heard it a long time ago, so it's probably true. Let's hope so. And of course, here at Pirate Rich, we do not encourage people to drink snake blood because that would be terrible. So don't. I don't think the 80s was a time of health and safety, was it? Really? I keep forgetting, unless I've got the miniature right of it. The lens is jump in focus, so. I've got some equally good and bad news going on. So I thought I'd share it with you guys. So to make some more time with my calendar, I made the decision to take the paint-alongs to one every 2 weeks instead of every week. And with this spare time, hopefully, I can then get an, with the help of my young Padawan, get some more quality videos of pre-recorded stuff done. So I was thinking like doing the live videos on the first Friday and the third Friday of each month, and then if I get enthusiastic and do the other two, I will. But they're going to be the only guaranteed ones are going to be the third and the first, and then got some ideas to do more stuff with kind of how-to videos. So they'll be mixed in fairness. Let's start with the leather. Let's do the bootstrap brown. So well, it's only to get me going. It might be if we can get the other video sorted, then I'll just go back to one a week. But maybe what I was thinking about, one of the first ones I was gonna do was a whole series of videos of my teaching my son to paint right from the off, if you know what I mean. So we were going to grab a plastic 4-point Viking set from Griffin Beast and take it right from out of the box. So I was going to teach him how to assemble them, how to undercoat them, and make videos of each step in the process all the way through to getting them on the tabletop and then having a game of Saga with them. So that was one of the plans. We've got kind of a unique opportunity to have somebody that's not really painted before. He's and take it all the way through to finishing a whole warband, as it were. He's gonna help me out with the editing of the videos so we can get some better quality. So I've struggled, in fairness, since I've been up here at the Crow's Nest to get Evening Dale. Everything's set up how I had it before. Yeah, I thought it might just kickstart a bit of change. It means we can do it without I thought it was a good opportunity too good an opportunity to miss, to make a series of videos. And see how he improves, or if he improves. It might be a complete mess up, and he might paint like a cat with no thumbs. Don't know if that's a thing. I suppose not having opposable thumbs would actually be quite a drawback for painting. But yeah, if I'd run it by you guys, that's obviously anyone else in the comments. I think it might give me a better chance to let people know what's going to be on the live video as well. Because if at the end of one I let you know what's going to be the next one, you're going to have like 2 weeks before I pull the trigger on it. So if people want to get the miniature involved and paint along, you might allow that as well. So with this bootstrap brown, I'm just going to go start building the highlights. So we're staying on the peaks and avoiding the valleys. And hopefully be able to tie it up a little bit better with all the releases that Griffin Beast is in as well, which would be a definite bonus. And of course I can work some of the other stuff onto Pirate Rich Plays as well. So it's promising a lot, and we have to see if we can deliver. Leather brown to highlight the leather brown. It's one of the most obvious things to call it, isn't it, when it's the highlight of a leather? We'll call it leather brown. What is it? Oh, it'd be Goober's Goober or something. Now we're just going for the highest edges, just picking out the little highlights. any of those high bits, but just a little touch on there. Remember, less is more. It's going to be our top highlight in this brown. Top of his foot now. So of course it's the first Friday of the month is next Friday. So we'll do next Friday. That's if my camera will stay in focus. Sorry guys. It's stuff like that I'm going to get sorted out and nailed is why this is doing that, because it never used to. Almost like painting little lines on top of the high parts just to build some texture. A bit of edge, good old GW edge highlighting. There we go. Put medium into the leather brown. And start with the edges. Yes, I'll work on it this week and try and work out some sort of plan for the next month or something, and let you guys know next week. I thought to myself, oh, I didn't highlight his gloves. It wasn't wearing gloves, so that'd be why. At this point, if you decide that you've put too much highlight in, that you can go back in with a wash. You know what I mean? Right, next is red loincloth thing. I'm going to go to the next purpley red, which is Wyvern, I believe. Yeah, Wyvern Fury. medium in the brush. And you want to go down the peaks, leave the valleys. Come down the side of the valleys a little bit. Remember, this is our first highlight. So just leave the original purple right in the bottom. This is marking out the areas we're going to highlight. Then a dragon red. Again, we're not worrying about whether it's dry or not, because it's going to make it a little bit of a wet blend as long as we're not too rough with it. Bit of medium into the dragon red. And come down peaks. And start coming down to the side of the valley, but only a little way. Thank you, camera. Down the peak. And a little bit down the valley. And we're going to grab the purest of red. Pure red. This is going to be our highest highlight on the red. So we'll literally just go down the very highest peaks and don't go down the sides at all. So we're going straight down the highest area there. Wash it off. So you can just wash that little bit of red out of there. There we go. And a little bit of red right down the middle there. Nice. So that's the browns and the reds. Next, I'm going to put a wash onto these ropes. Now we've done the dusty skull, didn't we? So what we'll do is we'll find the sepia one. If you haven't got sepia, use something like strong tone or agrax. But I just like the sepia on this one. Works very well for skeletons, that combination. The fantastical painters among us. Pretty much done then, haven't you? With paint with the dusty skull. Dusty skull, sepia wash, and then wait for it to dry and nice dry brush with bone white, whatever it is. Skull, bony white, whatever. But I don't know why I'm telling you how to paint skeletons while I'm painting rope. It's one of those nice odd randomly things. Here comes the mothership. This sepia tone would actually work over the leather as well if you want. But I'm quite happy with the leather look. So I'm going to leave that. So that leaves us with, first of all, we need to do the swords with some black wash. Again, water down, non oil's good, or dark tone watered down, or this is a mixture of the two with some black ink in it, with some medium, washing it through. Just quite a bit on the tongy bits. Give that a second. When you put these washes on, you've got a few minutes to muck around with them, so it's best to put it on, do a second one, then go back and check the first one, make sure nothing's pulled up too badly, and you don't want to sort it before it dries, because once it's started to dry, you can't really shift it without mucking it up. Let's just go back to that one. See, there's quite a big pull in there, but it's fine. Nothing too excessive. I'll just check that one. Actually needs a little bit moving in there. Good, happy with that. Then I've also got this is a Reichland Flesh Shade with some Crusader Flesh speed paint and some medium. But it's very similar to just the Reichland. And I'm just going to run that onto the gold. I've got a lot of it to do. It's in there. So I've got a brush that's knackered, so I'm just feeling it right up with tone and just almost letting the brush dribble it rather than paint it on. We're sort of dabbing it on. And whenever I try and do this, I say you've got to be brave, you've got to try and get as much of this flesh shade onto the gold as you can. So you'll know it kind of leaves a tea baggy stain. Tea bag. Tea stain. Not a tea bag. That's something else. Okay. Flesh tone. So we've done the moonstone. So next we're going to grab agate skin. An hour and a quarter in. Quite a bit. These are not extra work, but they're quite a easy miniature to paint. So we're going to add a little bit of medium to that. And then we're just going to let the camera focus. And we're going to just start painting. Wherever we see these muscle groups, we're going to pick them out. So much water in my brush. This has been a bit of a tinker, this little brush. Somehow I think it's how the sometimes how the brittles work, they just hold too much. If you ask a proper painter, they'll actually tell you the exact reasons on the brushes. Oh, pardon me. So yeah, we're just looking for just picking out the muscles. Just working back round. This is our first flesh highlight, so all we're looking to do really is start picking those muscle groups out and leaving the original flesh just at the bottom of each valley. And so we're looking at his chin there. Each muscle group we are picking completely out. Just making sure that the original skin tone is just in the bottom of all these valleys. Bit more medium into it. There we go. My battery was telling me off for not charging it up, so it's plugged in now. So we're safe, we won't suddenly disappear. Then not going to go right up to the edge of the boots there, not going right to the belt. Obviously it's a little bit shadowy in there. But cheeks will stand bright and proud though. There's no other way of saying it. There probably is, but I didn't choose to, so we crack on. Okay, so now we're going to jump to Bubbly Berry and Flash. I think this is quite a this flesh triad's got very big jumps in it, so if you're not careful, you're gonna have to go back and put some wash in it, but it's looking all right at the moment. So now we're going to go back to all those different groups we've just highlighted, and you're going to stay inside the colour we've already did. Now the thinner you make your paint here is the better your blends are going to look. It will take you a little bit longer if you thin your paint right down, but you will end up with a smoother transition. If you want that really kind of cut look, probably after you put the first layer in, you should drop a wash in and build up from there. I'm looking for a bit of a more subtle blend in mine. These being such subtle looking miniatures. Just work around the miniature till it looks right. Make sure not to have too much on your brush. So chin, nose, lip, a little bit on his throat there, and the knuckles. A bit across his fingers. And start working on these muscle groups. Keeping that medium going in. Keeping everything smooth. There we go. Yes, they are based on the sculptor was one of the guys that did what's the not Necromunda, Mordheim, I think. So I know that people use these as Mordheim miniatures. They are slightly smaller than GW ones, but in fairness, people are different heights anyway, don't they? They're not as gigantic. These aren't as gigantic as the GW ones, but they're of that ilk. Okay, so our highest highlight, we're going to use a ruby skin. This is very bright, so we're not going to use much of this. See if we can even get it out. Oh, the pot. This is a very pinky white, so we're just going to hit the three. I think this was the first guy, yeah. So we'll put a little bit of medium in. Just get a little bit of this on the tip of your brush, and you can do things like just the tip of his nose, the tip of his chin, a little dot on his lips. Then when we get to his hand, we're going to do just the top of the knuckles. Notice I've not put any more, just hitting the fingers there. I've not put any more paint in my brush yet. It's just the top of his hand there. I'm going to start tracing the edge of his hand back. Can you see we've just done a little bit in there? And then we're going to a little bit more medium. As we get to these muscle groups, we're just going to get the very pointy, and we're going to almost dot the high points. See what I mean? We're just going to do a little dot. Dot, 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 dot. Dot, 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 dot. Can you see what's happening to his arm there? It's very hard to see because the white and it gets blown out by the lamp. You'll see it on the pictures when I do them. So across the top there, dot, 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 dot. Dot, 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 dot. Helps if you say dot, dot, dot as you dot, dot, dot. They're little dabs really, rather than dots. But you're not going anywhere where you've not highlighted on the last ones. So it's just the highlight and the highlight, if you know what I mean. Dot, 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 dot. Because you're just putting those little dots in, you're actually building up texture. Paint very thin, so it's not really visual texture, I suppose, is better. I don't know if that's a thing. Is that a thing? I don't know. So his visual interest is a bit of a better term, I suppose. So you've got ribs under there, so I'll just put a line on them. See that in there? And just dot, 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 dot in the middle of his leg there. Just suggesting that there's a little bit of a glisten off of him. There we go. So let's get some white. We use enough white. We use brain matter beige. You've got a lot of browns going on in there. Or you could use a matte white, whichever you prefer. And I'm going to grab my insane detail brush. I'm just going to get in there. You can see his teeth. Put his teeth in. Just about see his eyes. And on that side you can't, so it's just his teeth really. So look at this one. This guy's got his mouth shut, and you're not getting the eyes in there. You might, but not that side. So rather than mess them up and have them look googly, leave them. Right, so I'm just going to go back with some of the gunmetal. And he's got a studded leather posing pouch. There's no way to put it. That's what it is. So I'm just going back in with the gunmetal just to pick out those studdy bits. There we go. And then we're going to grab Shining Silver. I know it's shining, but I like calling it Shining Silver because it amuses me. Need a little bit of it. Go back to our naffed up brush. Load the brush up. Unload the brush on the palette. So it's still wet, it's not a dry brush. Another thing that you can do is get tissue and just touch the edge of the brush onto the tissue to make sure there's not too much moisture in it. Still is, I could tell there was. I knew that was going to be the case there. And just run it along the edges. Using the edge of the brush, going on the edge of the sword. And we're going to go gently up the center of the sword until we get to the point, and then we're going to paint the point in silver. So it's gently up the center of the sword, and at the top, we're just going to paint in silver. I think what's happened with that silver is I put it into a bit in the palette that's got some water, so it's a bit flooded in there, so we'll just have to bear with it. I'm not sure what it's picking up. There we go. So just dot a little bit of shiny silver just along the edge of the metal. Nice. He's done. I've got enough silver still in the brush just to do the edge highlighting on that. So using the edge of the brush, just run down the edge of the sword. And do the bottom as well, because it's don't really need to, but it's good practice. And then at the center of the sword. Still using the side of the brush because there's no point on this brushlet, it's knackered. This is one I've been using all day to do washes and stuff with. And at the top, then on the edge of these tongs, just using the edge of the brush again. I'm going to wash it out. And then we're going to grab bright gold, because that works really well on greedy gold. And we're just going to do the same thing. Pick up the greedy gold, just on the point this time. And I'm just going to catch on some of the higher edges of the gold. Dot, dot, dot. Dot on his balls. I'll stop saying that, otherwise YouTube will probably ban the video. Dot, dot, dot. See how shiny the sword looks now. That's with the gold highlighted out. So what we do now is skeleton bone for the rope. Again, we're going to pick a little bit up on the brush, empty the brush out, and then just gently over brush. Not sure your over brushing skills, completely dry the brush out and do it as a dry brush. You're better off at this point to have it too dry than too wet, if you know what I mean. Because if it's too dry, you just have to do it a couple of times. There we go. So it's just the bit of black leather. So what you can do on those is grab something like a very dark blue, the darkness. That's from the John Blanche. That's one lower on the deep green blues than deep ocean blue. Now we're going to do that. We're going to load the brush up, then unload like we just did. Then any of these black areas, we're just going to put a kind of an edge highlight in dark blue. Just for a bit of extra pizzazz, because we got time. Time is on our hands. Okay, so I've just got a bit of silver into my brush there, so I'll just wash that out. I'll just aim with it right on the edge, or anywhere that I've got black on the miniature that is pointing towards the light. So looking for, I know it's not the correct terminology, but we're highlighting the black with dark blue in effect. It's not a true thing, it's a miniaturism, I suppose. Makes the black look a bit sun drenched, I suppose. You know what I mean. Sun drenched is probably the wrong word as well. Yeah, I was thinking that too. The one with the sword up reminds me of one of the early barbarians. Was it the Slayer or something like that? I think the base will be dry now. There's some patches that weren't quite dry. This is just our thinned out brown over the neutral pumice. Yeah, the sword's identical to that guy. I think they redid that particular miniature I'm thinking of as well later on and give it a hawk. But it's the sword that reminded me of him more. Because the barbarian had like long hair. That's the thing with miniatures is there's so many of them out there now. You look at a miniature, it reminds you of something somewhere. And I think the thing with especially the early Citadel stuff is they were chopping them about to make second and third and fourth miniatures out of the same set. There we go. Let's grab some black up. So if you can wait a bit for the brown to dry, that's much better. But obviously, sitting here watching paint dries is not exactly exciting. This is the lap of honour. Victory lap. Yeah, so I hope that plan I had's okay with everyone. Because obviously I'm here for you guys. So I'll see you next week as normal. We can discuss the plans going forward from there. But obviously message me, etc, etc, etc. Right, hour 44. I think we're done. I'll say I'll get some pics when I lacquer them, hopefully in the morning. I'll lacquer Rich's next bunch of Highlanders. These have been enforcers of righteousness with huge swords, and we can agree they are huge swords. So yeah, they're good. I like them a lot. So they go with these two guys we know from the last couple of weeks. I'll keep going with their warband. Maybe do some of the some more of them next week, or maybe we do some 100-year war. Who knows? Who knows? So yes, if you're watching this tomorrow and you've not subscribed and liked and hit the notification bell, if you can help a guy out and do that, that's brilliant. If you can jump on Facebook and find Pirate Rich Paints and follow that, that's an excellent idea as well for me. And also you can join the Crow's Nest group, which is attached to that as well. Also on YouTube we have Pirate Rich Paint plays. Blah, 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 blah. Okay guys, so thank you very much for joining me. Have a lovely weekend. And the brush question I was asked on the other video is, those brushes are cheap ones from Amazon. I can't remember the exact name of them. I will try and dig it out for an upcoming video on Pirate Rich Plays, where I compare one of those to a deer brush. That'll be an interesting video, so watch out for that one. Yeah, cheers then guys, I'll get off now and I'll speak to you all again soon. Have a great weekend guys. Cheers.